While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder.
This guy's weird. He says, while COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. What a fucking nut. IVF is literally this: a procedure that combines sperm and an egg in a laboratory to help people with fertility problems have children. You're literally helping people have fucking children that have a fertility issue. How is that immoral? He also bashed surrogacy. Why would you bash surrogacy? Someone carrying your child for you because you can't fucking have one is like a kindness. He's calling euthanasia disorderly and degenerate. I might be controversial to me, but like if I'm on my deathbed and I have a disease that cannot be cured and I am going to die anyway, it might actually just be a better choice for me, if I want to, as my own choice, to decide to end my own life in that situation, hypothetically speaking, of course. Why would you be against that? What's the alternative? You just want them to suffer until they die anyway?
To the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. You know, the difficult and unpleasant things.
Oh my God, dude, this is hard to watch. The only thing I can see that's a genuine danger about gender studies or just the whole gender thing in general is how people react to it. Like you, when you're going out and doing a whole speech against it. Of course, there are some fucking weirdos that take advantage of it and try to use it to get to children. There's a significantly higher chance of you being, or your kids being, raped by a Catholic priest. I literally covered a story on my YouTube channel of someone in one of my hometowns down in Southwest Florida, where he got 5 charges from Iowa. I literally was talking about this. What kind of nonsense is this?
It is safe to say that over the past few years, I've gained quite the reputation for speaking my mind. I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it.
I don't think God gave you shit, except for stupid juice. Dude's over here saying that God gave this platform to me. I never wanted to have this take. I didn't want to have this. I was forced into it. God just possessed my body, and I pulled out my phone and fucking hopped on social media and started being an asshole. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Take some accountability for what you're saying. At least say it was you. Don't say God gave me this position for being, you know, a misogynistic, transphobic, massively out of touch Catholic. Do you just think that people who can't have kids who have fertility issues, they should just keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and then just inevitably never have kids?
Preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it. As members of the church founded by Jesus Christ, it is our duty and ultimately privilege to be authentically and unapologetically Catholic. Our Lord, along with countless followers, were all put to death for their adherence to her teachings. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Bro, actually just call diversity, equity, and inclusion tyranny. Tyranny. This is why they tell you to remain silent. Because your take, your perspective, the angle that you're coming at it from, have you ever thought that maybe it's incorrect and stupid? You are less intelligent to have this take than you are to accept the fact that people can be surrogates, or there's trans people in the world that exist. Oh my God. Oh my God. Brother's so out of touch. what the fuck do you say to a man like this? How do you even come to this conclusion? Calls inclusion and diversity tyranny. Brother, you're the problem. You're the tyranny. No, you're well within your free speech to say stuff like this. You're well within your free speech to say whatever you want. How people react to that and how people respond to that is their personal fucking choice. Their personal choice to respond to you negatively because you're saying negative things about stuff that isn't a fucking problem and shouldn't be perceived as a problem. That's not tyranny. Them giving you how they feel about what you're saying is not tyranny. They're not bringing you to a jail cell and impounding you. Getting banned or blocked or anything on social media, which are private platforms from private companies, if you're not fighting for free speech, if you're fighting being blocked or fighting being banned on a platform. You can't go out and say, oh, I got blocked on Facebook. They're trying to get rid of my free speech, or they banned me. I got sent to Facebook jail. Now I can't talk about how I'm a piece of shit for 10 hours or something stupid. It's like, bro, they're not at liberty to take their private social media company and just give you full-blown access to it. You're not getting murdered in the street. You're not being sent to the gulags. You're literally just a douchebag complaining about how you don't have free speech because there's these tyrannical people in the world stopping you from having it. No, it's just that people fucking disagree with you.
Because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority.
That's ass.
Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. But make no mistake, before we...
Where's that at? U.S. Department of Justice jail policies is banning American Civil Liberties Union, Constitution Watchdog Canadian, proposing amendment to the Constitution of the United States, restoring religious freedom. U.S. Department of Justice says jail policy banning all books and magazines except Bible is unconstitutional. That doesn't... Proposing amendment to the Constitution of the United States, restoring religious freedom. When the fuck was it taken away? What are you talking about? There's literally nothing on this. What the fuck is he talking about? Evangelical Alliance. This is gonna have a great perspective, right? Finnish law. This is Finland. What? Why? He's full of shit. Where's this at? I couldn't find what he was talking about. He literally, it's not there. There's literally nothing there for this law or this bill being passed that could put you in jail. Bro, I'm still not even 5 minutes into this shit.
Because sadly, many priests we are looking to for leadership are the same ones who prioritize their hobbies or even photos with their dogs and matching outfits for the parish directory.
Is he trying to form like a Catholic coup? Is he like gonna take over the Catholics? Is that what he's like insisting? Like, hey, all the bishops and all the priests, we can no longer just say, Father told us to do it. Like, Father said so. We have to look inward and find all their evil hobbies that they have, their hobbies that they're prioritizing over being a bishop. He's forming like a Catholic coup. He's the Catholic Colonel Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
We must be intentional with our focus on our state in life and our own vocation. And for most of us, that's as married men and women. Still, we have so many great resources at our fingertips that it doesn't take long to find traditional and timeless teachings that haven't been ambiguously reworded for our times. Plus, there are still many good and holy priests, and it's up to us to seek them out. The chaos of the world is unfortunately reflected in the chaos in our parishes.
You guys are so out of touch. You want people to fucking be a little bit more moral. You want things to get a little bit more better and more tidy and have more manners and stop with the profanity, like how I cuss every goddamn 10 seconds. You fucking pay them enough to take care of their goddamn families. I'll tell you exactly why there's so many mentally ill people running around who don't give a shit about themselves or other people and are willing to put themselves and other people in complete and utter danger. It's because they can't fucking afford to live.
Focusing on my vocation while praying and fasting for these men will do more for the church than me complaining about her leaders.
Yeah, sure, the classic I pray and fast is gonna do more than me complaining, because what you're complaining about is fucking nonsense. Now, basically what you're saying is putting your head down, staying in your lane, fasting, and giving a little prayer is going to somehow accomplish more things in the world than you actually going out and changing it. I feel that's such a weird fallacy. I don't understand the whole thing where like, oh, God is supposed to just move underneath and do this and that. Like he's playing fucking chess with us, you know, he's making his moves for his plan. When arguably the universe is just kind of measurable.
That their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
Before 2014, gays weren't even allowed to get married. So when gays would come out and say, hey, I want to get married, who was at the front of the line to say no? The Catholics. And you're saying that it's not the same pride, your pride in your God. It absolutely is a worse pride. Do you want to know why it's a worse pride? Because of your snobby attitude. You're a straight up condescending prick while people are having pride for just being themselves. There's a massive difference between their pride and your pride, and your pride is the sin that you are talking about. You are beyond your own problem.
I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you.
Oh my God.
How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Remember, women, most of you are excited to have children and get married, as if, you know, divorce rates weren't what they are. Someone call the fucking ambulance. I'm about to piss some people off. Holy shit, dude. The last thing I would say most people, including women, want are kids. Why? Because of something I brought up earlier called financial fucking stability, okay? Now you're graduating college. What kind of job are you gonna go get? It depends on what jobs are fucking available. If they didn't already require a master's degree anyway, and they're gonna pay you $15 an hour. Get fucking real, bro. You might not even want to get into that role. Just because you're Catholic doesn't mean you have to get married. You don't have to get married to end up in heaven, right? Like you shouldn't have to have kids in order to get into heaven and go be with God, right? Is it like a requirement? Is it like, all right, they're at the pearly gates and you got like, you know, all right, hang on. I'm an angel. I'm pulling out my app. All right, scan this QR code. All right. Oh, sorry, shit. You weren't married on earth. You're going to hell.
I pray that I always use my voice for God and not for myself. Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience. I am hopeful that these words will be seen as those from a man.
I'm pretty sure wisdom is like experience most of the time. When you find like an old wise man, they're an old wise man because they have the experience, right? Yeah, I think he's just completely wrong there. He's basically saying that not because he has the wisdom, but because he has the experience. But that's how you get the wisdom, is through the experience. So, L.
Heterodox ideas abound even within Catholic circles. For let's be honest, there is nothing good about playing God with having children, whether that be your ideal number or the perfect time to conceive. No matter how you spin it, there is nothing natural about Catholic birth control.
All right, so dude clearly doesn't believe in birth control because he doesn't believe in irresponsible sexual intercourse. But there's something that people are forgetting. Like, no matter what you do, what you try to do to get people to stop choosing unprotected sex, they're gonna have it. So taking away birth control is going to make your problem worse for what you believe. Taking away birth control is going to make either more abortions or more kids that are not taken care of. You have skin, you have bone, you have muscle, you have fat, you have a fucking brain, you have organs. You are a fucking animal. You are going to fuck.
I attend the TLM because I believe, just as the God of the Old Testament was pretty particular in how he wanted to be worshipped, the same holds true for us today.
That's super ironic because everyone that believes in the TLM that's like super into the Old Testament, they don't realize that the fucking Quran is basically the exact same book. So people who just completely hate Islam and are just like straight into like Judaism and just anything about the Old Testament, It's actually like almost damn near identical. It's not. It's similar. It's extremely similar. They have tons of the same stories.
Sadly, I'm sure many of you know of the countless stories of good and active members of this community who, after graduation and moving away from the Benedictine bubble, have ended up moving in with their boyfriend or girlfriend prior to marriage. Some even leave the church and abandon God. It is always heartbreaking to hear these stories, and there's a desire to know what happened and what went wrong.
If you're wondering what went wrong, I'm pretty sure it must have been something along the lines of they stopped drinking the stupid juice. Like, I don't want to just bash Christians like all the time, because I do have some core Christian values, but like not a lot. Like maybe 2 or 3 things. This is hilariously asinine. I can't believe this. When I heard the news and I saw this and it was like this dude is super misogynistic and transphobic, I was like, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and watch the speech. And then it ended up being a fucking 20-minute long speech. And within the first 5 minutes, there was like 10 different things I had to immediately talk about that he just said some super asinine shit.
Cost of living must not be the only arbiter of your choices. For a life without God is not a life at all, and the cost of salvation is worth more than any career.
How could you sit there and genuinely say that the cost of living shouldn't be your main arbiter for deciding where you want to live or blah, 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 and how you live your fucking life? That is the only thing that people have been talking about on TikTok and basically every social media for basically the last decade is, why are the prices going up? Overall, this is something that just never needed to happen. No one needed to hear this. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys.
Complete.